Um, Something I wanted to ask Alice about is sort of whether you've kind of done sort of like vocal training, or how you've kind of curated the way in which you use your voice. Because I remember because I transitioned years ago now, but before I went on T, I used to talk right down here, right over my voice, which I've had to unlearn. I've had to learn how to kind of reinsert color into my voice since it broke. So I was sort of wondering, kind of yeah, I suppose sort of whether this is something that you think about a lot, or whether it's something that kind of comes more naturally when you're performing.
Well, there's sort of unpacking that. There's actually quite a few things that touches on. One's social voice, the voice one uses every day. Then there's obviously vocal training from my point of view as a spoken word artist, as an actor, stroke actress. And there's also singing as well. Now, the thing that actually impacts, and this is something that I wanted to talk about with the show, and this little mini show does discuss, is the fact that I'm not a singer. And I've always found singing incredibly, unbelievably difficult. And I can't reliably pitch. Now, this is a really interesting thing, because I find that my voice is quite flexible in terms of spoken word. And I find shifting timbre fairly easy. It's sort of, I'm not saying, and this is an interesting thing about passing as well, which I don't particularly try and do, but is my voice convincingly a female voice, or does it sound like a female voice created by someone who is genetically male? I don't know. And I don't know, but it's hopefully it codes as, I suppose I go for acceptable. That's the thing. And the last show that I was working on, Speaking Out and Fitting In, was all about the idea of wanting to be a performer and wanting to be center of attention, but at the same time, socially not wanting to be center of attention, wanting to just fit in and be part of the scenery, and nothing unusual. So it's a strange one.
I think there is something to be said about not what is opera, but what is operatic. The thing that came to mind when you were speaking, Alice, was that Dan has the whole beginning section of Glimmerings, and I'm not doing this just because I want to get Dan on board. It's actually a really good sort of segue, because a lot of the speech for the other character, not my character, is pitched speech. So there's not actual notes. There is just a lot of Dan can explain it better than me, but spoken word that has contours to it.
It's such an interesting space, isn't it, between spoken and sung there, I think, which I think probably comes out in spoken word and any sort of more non-sung theatre performances. I think there's a real sort of grey area in the middle between where you're not singing, but you're maybe overemphasizing pitch contour. And it accesses a whole different sort of tone color of the voice, I think.
Yeah, and I think some of these kind of genre boundaries have been drawn pretty recently as well. I actually think about this. We have some historic recordings of Kurt Weill's music in particular, where there'll be an awful lot of just talking, and